Welcome to High Vibes for You. If you're returning, welcome back to High Vibes for You. My name is Michelle. In this video, I'm going to be doing your lunar vibes. In this lunar vibes video, I'm actually going to be combining two phases and doing a collective read. So the two phases are the last quarter moon and the Waning Crescent moon. And with the last quarter moon, that causes us to release and let go and cleanse and forgive. So forgiving ourselves, forgiving situations, people, things of that nature. And then with the Waning Crescent moon, this is a time to surrender and rest and recharge. So the two kind of go hand in hand, so it kind of works itself out, doing the two combined and doing it as a collective reading. So I just wanted to give that quick little heads up, and now we're going to go ahead and dive into it. And of course, two Moonology cards for the overall energy, and then we'll dive into the tarot. And again, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, so for the collective, please. For the last quarter and Waning Crescent. Energies overall. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow. You are very close to achieving your goal. Gibbous moon. This is encouraging. And one more, please. One fell on the floor. A win-win outcome is forecast, full moon in Libra. Listen, I'm here for it. What flew on the floor was the answers you need are coming, full moon in Gemini. When cards fall on the floor, to me, those are things that are past energies or things that haven't worked out. But again, it's past energy. It's already been attempted. So I'm going to put this back in the deck. But I feel like you guys have got some answers that you were seeking during the full moon, sometime between the full moon and now. And it could be regarding relationships, people around you, family. This could even just be you with your consciousness and identifying the emotions that you're feeling and the ones that are keeping you in like a down type of state or stagnant energy, so to speak. But when you look here, compared to this moon, even though this is a gibbous moon, it's illuminated and you see you're very close to achieving your goal. And then with the win-win outcome is forecast, it's like whatever answers you needed or whatever you needed to do, it brought balance to this situation, which is causing this win-win forecast. So I'm going to get you some further information on those two cards, but at the bottom of the deck we have meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. And then we have balance, spirituality, and practicality, full moon in Pisces. It's very interesting. So, real quick, let me get you these two definitions. So, what the author says about this card, the word gibbous means bulging. What a descriptive word, right? And pulling this card at any time of the month suggests that the situations you're asking about is bulging with possibility and coming to a peak. But this isn't an ending card with a neat yes or no answer. Rather, you're being reminded that some adjustments may be required before you get what you want. Though you're certainly on the right track, which is hopefully reassuring you. However, there's also a sense that the situation is a bit tense, so don't push too hard. One false move and the whole thing could blow. That is not meant to scare you. It's just to let you know that there's a fuse attached to this situation. So be careful if you choose to light it. I know that I'm on the right track. Now is a good time to review your plans. Keep the momentum going as you move towards your dreams. Stay focused. It's a good time to start a new project. You need to get back into good health habits. That's for some of you. But ultimately, what this is saying is that you guys have identified that you're actually on the right track and implementing the information that you needed with the card that fell out on the floor. You see now that you're closer to achieving a goal, or a goal is obtainable now for you. whereas before you thought it was so far out of reach, or you thought that this wasn't a possibility. But you got the win-win outcome forecast card. So let me look that up. So full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love and closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to professional relationships. This is a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the right answer to your question. So let go of that which is falling away. See the other person through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. Look at yourself, but avoid vanity. Now is a great time for a makeover. So ultimately, it encourages you to find balance between what it is that you're desiring and the relationships around you. Professional, romantic, family, platonic, all of those alike. And so you got meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces, and then you got balance, spirituality, and practicality, which is full moon in Pisces. And where is that card that fell out? Hold on. No, it was in Gemini. And Gemini is about communicating. It's the house of communication. And I'm actually going to show you that. So, okay. So if we're looking at the new moon in Pisces, where it's meditate, contemplate, and the full moon in Pisces, where it's balance, spirituality, and practicality, when it comes to looking at the Libra, the win-win outcome forecast, and it's talking about speaking to relationships. This is speaking to the compromise you're willing to put in, but then also the compromise that you're needing from your partnerships in order to maintain the stability within the relationship, the harmony, the balance, and continue to evolve in the relationship overall. And as the book mentioned, it's not just speaking to romantic relationships. This is also your business relationships. This is your friendships. This is your family. And any of those people that are causing a hindrance or tipping the scale to where you're imbalanced internally, which is what I'm viewing the scale as, you're taking action to balance that scale out for yourself, whether it be kicking them off the scale so then there's nothing on the other side but, nothing. So you can replace it with something that's more equivalent. Or it's like you tweaking things on your side of the scale and tweaking things on their side of the scale. But either way, to make sure that they stay balanced is what I'm getting. And whether you're removing yourself from a relationship or, as the book had mentioned as well, ending relationships, it's bringing in balance to your life overall in general to help you remain in alignment with your higher self, so that way you can continue to propel forward towards your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, whatever it is that you're trying to work on. So when we look at the Pisces energy here, that is to do with your 12th house. So that's limitations, it's retirement, it's letting go, it's resilience, it's your spirituality, and it's your faith. And Pisces in general is connecting to your intuition, to your art, and to your imaginary world. So when you have meditate and contemplate and balance spirituality and practicality, it's calling for you to go inward and do some reflecting, which is what we just came from with the Waning Crescent phase. So now that we're in the last quarter in the Waxing Crescent, which is what we're in currently, you were able to release and let go, and you cleansed limiting beliefs and thoughts that you surrounding these relationships, that where you thought you needed this person, or you thought that you had to stay in a relationship or had to stay in a situationship, whether it be working, friendships, or whatever the case may be. But you're understanding now that no, this was a hindrance and it was a limiting belief. And you're able to release yourself from it. And during this, which I think it's interesting that we had, that's where I was going with this. So, relying heavily on the information that you're getting through your meditation, through your contemplation, through weighing the pros and cons of a situation and a person and their contributions to the relationship or to the situation overall that's led you to this point to where you're questioning, do I really need this person in my life? Or is it time to change some things within myself to bring more harmony into this relationship? Whatever the case may be, you've gotten these answers. And I feel like maybe that was with this past full moon. I know that the full moon wasn't in Gemini, but it's just speaking to the energy that it's pertaining to. So when you look at Gemini, it's the third house, it's connection, communication, exploration, and learning. And then it's explore. Gemini itself is explore, learn, experiment, share, and communicate. So this is essentially you receiving some information, opening up and communicating about what it is that you need, what's missing, what's not working, what is working, and really going inward to get these answers, but all the while being in harmony with yourself and understanding the duality of the situation. So not just coming from a logical standpoint, incorporating your spiritual self as well. And ultimately what that means is that you're trying to resolve everything with unconditional love as the end result. And whether that be you releasing yourself from a relationship so it can make room for the right person to come in your life as well as the person that you're leaving, or it being that you work on your shadow aspects that may be contributing to the conflict or discord within the relationship or situation and bringing the resolve that way. But either way, this is what I'm getting, is that you're on point with the moon phase and you've gotten the information that you need to proceed forward confidently. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get to clarifying cards and give you your surrender and your mantra, and that will conclude your reading. All right, so for the collective. All right, so you're very close to achieving your goal, please. It's a horrible shuffle. Very close to achieving your goal. Flew out on my lap. Is my deck upside down? Okay. So we have the Ace of Swords. I'm not going to lie, when it flew out, it did fly like this. So with you're very close to achieving your goal, this is also stating that there may need to be some adjustments, as the card had mentioned in the book. But I feel like this is in reverse because there needs to be some new ideas, some type of innovation. There needs to be a change that needs to take place for some. But for others, you've reached this new idea through the resting and the recharging and surrendering to the situation, because we are in the current waxing crescent moon. You've cleansed already and released and let go of the negative, the things that were holding you back and clouding your vision. So now with the waxing crescent leading up to the new moon, where you set your intentions, you've made a plan, you're putting it out there. This is you having this new idea and surrendering to it and understanding, like, okay, how can I bring this into fruition? How can I implement this into what I'm doing? If it's into a relationship, it's you. How can we figure out new ways to communicate? How can I figure out a new way of thinking about this relationship or going about this communication that we have between us? Maybe this is even you just having a new beginning in general and Xing the person out of the picture. Whatever this may be, though, this sword is getting you very close to achieving your goal. And with the win-win forecast, the 8 of Cups, you walking away from whatever is not serving you. This could be people. This could be a certain lifestyle that you were living and realizing that it was enabling you to stay stagnant in this stuck type of energy. But with the Eight of Cups here, it's you clearly identifying what it is that you need to be focused on, even new ideas that you need to be focused on. And by walking away from these 8 cups here with the win-win outcome, it's self-explanatory. So some of you guys are leaving relationships. If not, this is you leaving behind certain emotions that you've been carrying around with you towards a person, towards a relationship, towards a goal, a dream. You realize that they weren't helping you obtain anything or releasing you from anything. And so going through the last quarter moon, it's that cleanse and that forgiveness. And it's not just forgiving the other people, it's also forgiving yourself for your faults in the situation, the allowance in the situation for however long it took place, or just the act in general of allowing this imbalance to take place. You know what I'm saying? But whatever it is, you've released this, which is why you could walk away from it, because you're no longer emotionally attached to it, to where you feel like, oh, I have to keep reliving this, or this is my fault, woe is me type energy. It's like, no, I don't have to stay there. And if this person or this situation was continuously making you relive that or remind you of it through new experiences you were trying to put out there, that's just all the more reason why you walked away, to be honest, from that person, because you've grown, but they're not. It's almost like that energy as well. So let's see what your mental is looking like. That fell on the floor. Hold on. Mental energy, please, for the collective. The 10 of Cups. You're only focused on what's emotionally fulfilling to you. You walked away from these 8 cups, and to get to the 10 of Cups from the 8 of Cups is 2 cups. And the 2 of Cups to me is, if it's just talking about from the standpoint of self, it's temperance. Because when you think about the temperance card, there's 2 cups on there, and she's pouring the cups back and forth. It's like you've revitalized yourself in releasing negative thoughts or emotions that you've been carrying with you. And you're able to fully see how a vision, this light inside of you that is now shining, this goal, this dream, this vision is now illuminated. And you see, like, this is emotionally fulfilling to me. This is what it is that I need to be focused on. I need to have these kind of people around me and keep my head towards the sky, because the sky's the limit. But ultimately, mentally, you're focused on whatever is emotionally fulfilling you. So if it's in terms of relationships, you released people with the 8 of Cups there. You're walking away from those relationships. And it may not even be to where you guys had a big falling out, or you calling them and saying like, hey, I don't want to be with you no more, whatever the case may be. It's kind of like it's this like fall back and surrendering to the divine type thing, where it's not drama, it's just literally like a new way of operating. And then with you having a new way of operating, naturally things need to fall in alignment with the vibration that you're putting out there. So if you got people that have a lower vibration than you, ultimately, naturally, you guys are going to separate from each other. There's not going to be this magnetism to keep coming around each other, because if you're in a new headspace with the Ace of Swords, they're still in this downing energy with the 8 of Cups here, operating from their shadow self. I never noticed this. It's like you were the shooting star, like you shot out of this space, like something got illuminated to you and you ran from that. You were able to run. You let your emotions be free. It looks like they were held up and pent up, like frozen back here. But then like with this spark that lit up the sky here with the moon that's right here, which the last quarter moon is actually in this picture. Wow, that's dope. I never noticed that. But it's like through that last quarter moon, you were able to defrost what's been frozen or dormant inside of you or around you. And so now your emotions are able to run freely. And when I think about the emotions running freely, again, I see the Temperance card and the balance being restored within yourself internally, the scales being balanced out, and which is why it's a win-win outcome, because you have a deep self-love for yourself. Now, even here, look at the emotions that are running out. Like, all the way. So now, emotionally, oh, that's what else I was gonna do. So this is past energy. Emotionally, this fell on the floor too. So I think it's dope that it fell right before I forgot to get this card. But the Knight of Wands, this is you going back and forth, teeter-tottering. Like, 1 minute I want to do this. No, I'm going to just stay here and be comfortable and be stagnant. This is changed. You've gone through a transformation emotionally, as I just spoke on here, which is why you can walk away from things with the 8 of Cups. So what's the current emotional energy for the collective? Fell on my lap. The Hangman, seeing things from a higher perspective. You're understanding that you don't need to stay in the current situation. Through seeing things from a higher perspective, you come up with new solutions to operate out of and to implement. And you're chilling. It's like you're at peace. And the pathway is shimmering. It's illuminated for you for how to go forward. It's full of light. So, what's the physical energy? And I feel like with the Hangman energy, it's like you taking a higher stance on things. Like I said, that energy is really coming through with this card. Like, taking the higher road. It's like if there are people that, like even here, in these depictions, these people are elevated. Taking the higher road. The cups are down here. Like, you're no longer staying in this tis for tat energy or feeling like coming from a place of ego where it's like, no, I can't go out like that, or I gotta show them I'm serious. You ain't got nothing to prove to nobody but yourself at the end of the day. How you feel about your actions, how you feel about you as a person, that's it. That's all that matters. It starts there. The minute you start giving that responsibility or that role to people outside of you, honey, listen, you better have a shield. That's all I know. Because opinions can really tear somebody down if you're not emotionally built up within yourself, if you're not confident within yourself. But, did I say physically? I think I said physically. I think I said physically for this. Typically, I do emotion or spiritually and then physically. But I think I said physically off the top of my head. Anywho. So emotionally, you're suspended. You're seeing things from the higher perspective. And remember, we did get the meditate, contemplate, and balance spirituality and practicality. And I feel like that's what you're doing here. So physically, you've overcome or will be overcoming these obstacles. It's been made clear. And I love how it's an eclipse here, because with the new moon on the 26th, there's a solar eclipse. And that's supposed to be a very powerful moon that does just this, help you overcome obstacles, create pathways for you. And look, there's that same illuminated pathway with the Hangman energy. So things are going forward with the 7 of Wands energy. To me, you understand what you need to do, what you've been doing wrong, and you're making the correct changes. And you've overcome some things. For sure, you've gone through a transformation and you're walking away from a lot. Look at this, towards your happiness. With the 7 of Wands there. And so spiritually, how is this affecting the collective spiritually? Let's put energy, please. That's all on the floor. The energy spiritually. Okay. So I would take this, but it did fall on the floor. The Chariot fell on the floor too. So you guys are already moving. you guys are already moving through the last quarter and the waxing crescent phase. You can expect that you guys are going to be propelling forward, which is why the Chariot is on the ground. You guys are already making the moves that you need to make. You're already distancing yourself from people. You're already changing your lifestyle habits, implementing new goals, visions, dreams, plans to execute along the way, trusting your intuition. So that's really what I'm getting with that. So spiritually, currently, the current energy spiritually, the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords, it doesn't always speak to there being deception that you're experiencing. In this situation, I feel like it's hasty movement away from the deception. That's the self-deception, that's people around you, the deception that you've placed on those relationships where it's a false sense of obligation and you don't have to be in the situation that you're in, whether it's pertaining to a job or pertaining to a relationship. You've removed the deception in this. And the reason why I say that is because even though the Seven of Swords is here, I'm picking up the energy of the Four of Swords because you released the Three of Swords. And the energy for the waxing crescent is resting and recharging. And so when you think about the Four of Swords, that is the meditate and contemplate, but also resting card. And that brings up the meditate and contemplate. So I feel like through meditating and contemplating, you're able to release the Three of Swords that was holding you in this, some maybe painful state, others just a stagnant state, or feeling as though there's something in between you and what your heart desires, essentially overall, whether this be an actual goal you're trying to obtain or an internal ascension of some sort for the way that you've been living. So just to clarify, the Seven of Swords, please. Yeah, forward movement, the Hermit. It's the wisdom, the inner wisdom. The Seven of Swords with the Hermit and the Chariot card all together. This is saying that you see through the deception, the self-deception, like I said, deception involving other people, and you're moving forward. And you're not looking back. You've been enlightened to what it is that's truly fulfilling to you, what you need to be focused on, and what you need to change. Expansion is at the bottom of the deck with the Two of Wands there, making choices and going forward on those choices. So the overall energy for the collective, the Knight of Pentacles. Your independence. Appreciation for your garden, appreciation for who you are, what you have to offer, how far you've come. Definitely. The Nine of Pentacles is like your peace. It's your, like, look at the darkness that she came from. And this is that same color that's right here with the Knight of Pentacles. So through walking through that Hermit door, I don't know if you remember the Hermit card I just pulled out. Let me see if it's, of course it's not. Okay. So on the Hermit card, it was like this sun showing up through the doorway here. And this to me reminds me of these two colors where it's like there was this lack, there was this void that you were experiencing with the Eight of Cups energy here. But now you're on the opposite end where you're experiencing pleasure, harmony, it's peace, it's you coming into stability with what it is that you're working on, but it's in the physical, in your physical environment overall is what this is speaking to. So it's taking your internal emotions and desires and applying it to your physical environment. And like I said, that's your relationships, that's you in general and how you've been operating and dealing with people, being honest with yourself, being honest with those around you, implementing new ideas, and just trusting is what I'm getting with that. So now I'm going to give you your surrender cards, what needs to be surrendered or what was surrendered with the last quarter and the Waning Crescent moon phase. For the collective, please. All right, so at the bottom of the deck, surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation compassionately, accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. And then surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe, and answers and support will arrive. And this is what I feel like you've gone through with the meditate and contemplate, balancing spirituality and practicality, and the Hermit card, essentially. Because in order to get this higher perspective of the Hangman, you have to go into hermit mode beforehand. So when we look at the surrender cards, surrender your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. So some of you guys, it's a new way of you acting. Maybe you're not being as vocal or as harsh in your communication. And maybe you're not coming from this place of always feeling like you need to prove yourself. And like, maybe that's why I think that's why I said that earlier, where it's like, you don't need to prove yourself to nobody but yourself, essentially. If you're pleased with your actions and how you've been, handling yourself, that's ultimately what matters at the end of the day. Now, I'm not saying go out here and dog walk everybody, but if you're not disrespecting anybody in the way you've been operating, what's the problem? You can't base your life off of other people's opinions. So surrender to denial. Accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decision. So a lot of you guys maybe were in situations where they were codependent relationships and there was a lot of excuses being made for the other person. Oh, well, no, they were just frustrated, or no, they're just tired today, or no, it was really kind of my fault. I could have done this differently. But it's like, no, stop going through the field blindly and feeling like, this girl right here compared to this girl right here, she is in peace. This girl is like, I'm hoping that I don't bump into him or her and make them mad or whatever. I'm just gonna go with the flow of things. I don't know what type of energy I'm gonna get today. And it's like, no, be free. Like, she's whipping this little dress around now, blindfold is off, and she's kicking it. She's enjoying herself. So surrender to the denial of an unhealthy relationship or a situation, as the card states. Like I said, this could be pertaining to a professional situation. Maybe you realize that this job just is not cutting it. The hours are strenuous. The pay isn't enough. The pay isn't enough to sustain your household needs, let alone the bills and you wanting to experience life like any other human. So it's just be real with your current situation, and it allows you to see this Hangman energy, see things from a higher perspective. And I feel like this is as a result of the Hermit card. All of this. So surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. I'm getting a little parched. Hold on. But yeah, for sure. Like I said, this is you releasing the deceptive thoughts that you had toward yourself and other people in situations. And so surrender the drama. No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm and don't contribute to the drama. Stay centered. Staying centered will help you resolve the issue more quickly. And so with the Hangman energy, again, in the Eight of Cups, it's like you being in the Nine of Pentacles with the Hangman, the Eight of Cups energy, the Ace of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. This to me is one of these people who you won't know that you messed up with them until you leave them and you reflect on the situation and you realize, like, dang, I haven't talked to this person in a couple of days, or dang, like, I wonder, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, but by you being calm and not overreacting or reacting out of a place of emotion and responding, not reacting. That's what I'm looking for. By you responding to the situation and not reacting out of pure emotion, you're able to take the higher road in this. You're able to overcome the obstacle. And then not only that, sometimes you end up being the one that always gets the apology because you didn't say anything out of anger. You didn't do anything out of anger. You didn't bring up any past hurt towards that person because you were mad or sad or hurt, whatever the case may be. So when you just let go of all of that, which is what I think the Eight of Cups is speaking to, is surrendering to drama and just the negative people around you or that were around you. That's what brings you to this Nine of Pentacles energy, which was after the Nine of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles. The happy life, the happy relationships, the dreams, the goals coming into fruition, a healthy, happy you, being at peace with yourself. So I'm going to get you a mantra, and then that will conclude your reading. So for the collective, please. When discomfort becomes a friend, my limiting beliefs are healed. So ultimately, if I had to sum this reading up, befriending pain. We're not going to call it that. But essentially, you are stepping outside of your comfort zone. And you've obtained the idea of where you need to do that, how you need to do that, what you need to release in order to do that. People, place, things, habits, whatever. And as a result, you are very close to achieving your goal. And it's a win-win outcome forecast for you. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope that it was helpful. I hope it brought some clarity to some situations, confirmations. I'm sending you lots of love, peace, clarity, and abundance and overflow. And until my next video, continue to vibe high, y'all. Bye.